We're going through the highs and the lows. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly a little bit. I'll go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off with the very first high I'm going to point out. I'm gonna go with the low hanging fruit. We're gonna go with the Chargers on the first one. You you finally beat Kansas City. You go into Brazil. Not only do you beat them in a bit of a mini kind of shootout game as well, where Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes are going back and forth. Patrick looked like he's gonna mount a comeback. The Marion Hampton mistake at the end of the half cost you points. You made a mistake, and normally that's what the Chiefs do. As soon as you make a mistake, they make you regret it, and they suddenly win the game, even though they're dead in the water. You overcame that. The Chiefs Patrick's fourth down heave, which was why he's so dang awesome. And I hate the sideline tomfoolery. On fourth down, when he threw it parallel to the ground, it's 40 yards right into the bucket to Hollywood Brown. It looked like it's going to happen again. You found a way to overcome it. Justin Herbert, there's something about when really good quarterbacks start dating a superstar baddie, they seem to hit another level. We saw it with Tom Brady. We saw it with Tony Romo. We've seen it with Josh Allen. Now I think we're seeing it with Justin Herbert. It's going to just keep going on and on. I feel I'm going to give the Chargers a nod because they made all the right plays to win, and they opened up the offense in a way that I was worried they wouldn't be able to. I know, like Kaepernick in year 2 with Harbaugh, they opened it up a lot more passing wise. So I'm kind of hoping we see that more with Herbert this year. Greg Roman's able to build around that. They got Johnston, Trey Harris will get in the mix. Ladd McConkey's awesome. Open up that run game for the pass because I think Joe Alton, Trey Pipkins, I think they could hold up passing wise. That's still a good tackle do. It's not nearly as good as Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, but I do think you can use a lot of pass to set up the run this year. I'm excited to see it. So we're gonna give the Chargers the knocks. That's a big way to start out leading the division, and then you got a Monday night game against the Raiders. If you win that game, you're in a very strong spot in the AFC West out of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say Herbert in Brazil, but I'm not gonna go with that with my high because you touched on that. So I'm gonna change mine up. I'm gonna say Buffalo in their comeback. I think that's my number one high. I think Josh Allen showing what he can do at a tied performance. We just showed his stats for Player of the Week. Absolutely outstanding. If you guys missed that segment, just rewind it a little bit. Absolutely fantastic. The comeback is fantastic. Also proving that Buffalo fans should be more faithful than they act and actually stay in the stands. I believe 5,000 fans were trying to get their way back in the stadium. They had left too early, at least 5,000. I love Josh's comments afterwards of, hey, have a little bit of faith in us. Last season in high mark, and, well, they're going to try to leave it on a high mark. And I think that's a fantastic part. It's one of the best games I think I've seen in recent memory for a season opener, but also just in regular season in general. It's hard to have a matchup that lives up to every potential billing, and this one lived up and went beyond the billing, and I think that was probably the best part of it for me. And what Buffalo was able to do was just outstanding. And Keon Coleman, ladies and gentlemen, Keon Coleman, he's here. Just until it gets cold, and then he needs a puffy jacket.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But he's the kind of what they need, winning those contested catches on occasion, just attacking the ball while Khalil Shakir does a lot of the underneath stuff, the yards after the catch. I think he's going to really open it up for them as they keep going. You would think from the 2013 finals when the Ray Allen game, all the Miami Heat fans left like, oh, what do we need to come back? Did we not learn anything? I know it's been 12 years, but I guess it's just our annual dozen-year reminder. Don't leave when you have that type of talent on your squad.
You were already planning on getting home 4.5 hours after the game started anyways. Might as well stay because you're at least going to have fun on that hour and a half ride home out of the parking lot.
When you have Josh Allen, you should never leave that early. If it's a bad team, if you're a really miserable team, if you're Miami in that case and it's 30-8, okay, I kind of get it when you're dead in the water. The Bills weren't dead in the water. It was nip and tuck the whole time. It was right there.
I pay too much money for those NFL tickets to want to leave early. I'm sorry. I'm getting every penny's worth at that point in time, whether it be the free gift that somebody left because they left early and it's a bad team I'm watching. Oh, I guess who just got a free T-shirt? Guess it's this guy. Or I'm going to be watching a great comeback.
We're nerds and freaks, so we're wired differently. So, if it's somebody a casual trying to beat the traffic, you can't do it when you have a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Patty Mahomes. When you got a dude's dude, or a loaded team like the Eagles with a dude, then you can't leave. Then it's just silly. If you're on your third string quarterback and you're the Saints, and it's 35-7, okay, maybe. Even then, though, maybe not.
Look, I've learned too many times. If I leave a game early, it means that it's going to become the best game in the world. So I learned a long time ago to sit around until I lived through 2 Auburn miracles at Jordan-Hare in the stadium. I don't need to, I've learned my lesson about not leaving. Even I didn't even leave the game in those situations. I stayed. And yeah, so I will never leave a game early. And for fans that do that, shame on you. Can you call yourself a fan? I'm not even an NFL team fan. I'm not a specific team fan anymore. And I still would stay at any game I go to, whether it be the Browns game that just happened or anything else.
I'm glad we talked about the Bills game because it's gonna bring me into my first low of the week, but I'm taking a wide arching approach to this. I'm putting coaching on the hot seat this week as a whole.
Mm.
There's a lot of coaching things that we have some issues with. We're gonna start with that game in particular. Just because you can, it doesn't mean you have to take points off the board and go for 2. Don't need to take points off the board to go for 2. You make the PAT, but you're like, "Oh, wait, we can get the ball a yard closer. Let's go for 2." Suddenly, instead of having a field PAT, you now don't have those points. And then what are you doing the rest of the way? You're chasing that missed point. You go for 2 again, and then you miss it. You go for 2 again later, and you miss it. That could have cost them the game if, well, Josh Allen didn't put on the cape, and if they didn't make the great Derrick Henry actually make one mishap that he's gonna have the entire season, just happened to do in week 1. Yeah, we gotta be smart about going for 2 just because you're in a situation where you think you can, doesn't mean you have to. Don't take points off the board, especially when you're going against another Titan like the Ravens, and I say Titan loosely, not
Mhm.
ironically, or one of the Titans of the NFL. Don't take points off the board. Don't overthink it. Don't get cute. And then what did you do? You put yourself behind the 8 ball, but Josh Allen saved the day. The Ravens, we're going to your coaching this one too. 4th and 2 with the game on the line when Josh Allen has the cape on, they have no timeouts. You have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Why are we not going for it? I don't care if you're on your own 5-yard line. You have the Derrick Henry averaged 9.7 yards a carry in that game. He's 2 yards tall. Let him hand him the ball and see if he dives over. Lamar is Lamar. Like, you literally beat the Chiefs for the first time in your guys' tenure together by going for it on a 4th down, and Lamar made a play. You have that much firepower. Lamar was balling. Derrick Henry was balling. Zay Flowers had arguably his best game as a pro, too. Like, DeAndre Hopkins just got you to 4th and 3, like, or 4th and 2. You're on the 40-yard line. If the Bills are gonna score, they're going to score whether it's from the 40 or the opposite 25. There was plenty of time on the board too. Josh Allen's in hero mode. You're not winning regardless, it's gonna happen. You keep the ball away from that man, or you hopefully get a short field because they have to get in the end. They have to do it regardless. Like, they're going for a field goal. Maybe you cut the field down. Either way, you utilize that. Brian Callahan, what are you doing at the end of the half? Like, you had a chance to go up with the lead, and because of that, the Denver got the lead at the end of the half, and you almost never saw it again. You In that same game, Sean Payton, why are you trying to pad Bo Nix's stats when you could have when the game was over? You're up 8, kick the field goal, call it a day. But no, we have to do a play action bomb, but the zero blitz, Bo Nix has to throw up, he misses Cortland Sutton and tries to throw it to Marvin Mims. You gave Tennessee a chance that if honestly, if it wasn't Tennessee, Cam Newton had any other team around him Cam Ward had any other team around him that day, you might have been dangerous. You dodged one because of hubris at that point. That was just absolutely ridiculous. Just kick the field goal, go up 11, win the game. The Bears. All right, like, I'm not gonna rag on this one too much because it's not a huge deal, but, like, at the end of the game, 2-minute you need that 2-minute warning. 2 minutes, 2 seconds left, you have a timeout, you're down by 3. Kick the ball out of the end zone. That's not easy, especially if your kicker's not known for having a rocket leap. Why didn't you just walk up and flick the ball? Because the clock doesn't start and doesn't hit the landing zone, it's a penalty, they get the ball at the 40. You know where you get the ball on a touchback if you kick it out of the back of the end zone? The
Mm.
35. So you're talking about a 5-yard difference when you're in a position of just needing the safe clock. Just kick that ball 90 degrees out of bounds or just go up and flick it. Since you didn't declare an onside kick, it would just be a dead ball and they get the ball at the 40. You shouldn't have even risked kicking it because if, like we saw, it didn't go out of the back of the end zone, Ty Chandler makes a play, you lose the 2-minute warning. Dudes, if you're an NFL head coach, I know it's your first time, but that's something you got to think of. Those are things that have to come to your mind. You can't let that slip through. And then just the Dolphins as a whole, like that thing was just a mess. But I'm not going to go into coaching. So coaching as a whole, week 1, they're still in their preseason mode. Coaches, I need you to strap. I need you to get it going. Some of them were in their bag. Other ones, well, we just laid out some issues. So coaching, you got to get back on top of it too. Coaches, we got to get rolling. You see, that was such a compelling case. Kelsey is stupefied right now. There we go.
Yeah, no, coaching week 1 sucked. I don't think honestly, I think week 1 of college football was just bad. Not week 2, week 1. I'm talking Deion Sanders as well. I know we didn't talk about it last week, but just like 2 timeouts, down by less than a score with a minute and 40 to go, and you don't use either timeout. What are we doing? So yeah, coaching will always, always make the difference. By the way, we just had about the Ravens. 85% win percentage went up by 2 or more scores since Lamar Jackson has become their quarterback. The lowest in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. And they've had that position more than just about anybody because they usually are crushing teams early.
Yep. So, yeah, weird stat for the Ravens. Like, who would have known up until 13 or 14 points up here, you can't win. Anyways, whatever. Yeah. So I don't disagree with your coaching. But my first low is going to be the amount of injuries that continue to happen to the San Francisco 49ers. George Kittle going on the IR being the most recent big one. We have CMC and his Achilles, will it, won't it? Calf, will it, won't it? Ankle, will it, won't it? Jawan Jennings, one of your players was shot last year. Another one of your players was shot even when he wasn't on your team. Then you have 7 other players either out on questionable or on IR right now. I think it's 7. It might have gone up since the last time I looked, which was yesterday. At this point in time, what are what's the training staff in San Francisco doing? Because the Jets have this conversation every once in a while, especially when it comes to keeping offensive linemen healthy. But it feels like with the Niners, it is like every year that we're talking about this team under Shanahan where they're just like 7, 8 deep that are injured, that are like main or at least auxiliary, third, fourth guys off the line type of guys that are injured. And it's like now you have George Kittle. Last year was CMC. Jawan Jennings this year. Last year also you could add Brandon Ayuk. Debo part of the year. Like Debo the year before that. It's egregious how many times I see major injuries on the Niners, and I just don't know what keeps happening. But it's week 1, and you already lost a super player. Now, yes, your backup tight end whose name is Tongs or Tongs or Tongues or something. I don't even know what it is. Dude didn't even know. If you had told me he would have caught a touchdown pass, I bet you his odds was closer to 100 plus 100,000 to score a touchdown. And the man catches a touchdown pass. So congratulations to him on a great performance. But like at what point in time are we doing too much Niners where your players are not even able to stay healthy through the first 2 weeks? I don't get it anymore. And it's hard to watch players on the Niners keep getting hurt. And don't get me wrong, not a Niners fan, but like from a fantasy standpoint, I hate watching it. Can't lie.
And on top of that, Brock Purdy might not be able to go now for this week. On top of it,
Oh
like
yeah,
it just
Brock. Yeah.
it just keeps adding up with him. I don't know what they do. Are they siphoning the life force from everybody to keep CMC alive this year? I don't know what the plan is here,
Is
but
this
it's
how
not.
John Lynch still has like cognizance? Is like he's just siphoning life force off everybody too?
He must have hung out Tom Brady, and that's how they're both managed to stay young. They found the secret, and it turns out it is destroying other teams from within. But I'm gonna go with my second high for the week. You mentioned the Jets, and we're gonna go there. I'm gonna be high on the Jets, even in a loss. Justin Fields looked really, really good. Garrett Wilson still looked really good. That run game, awesome. Armin Menbu, best rookie of the week. He was locked down at that tackle spot. He was outstanding. Even without Elijah Vera Tucker, that offensive line held up really well against the NFL's most expensive defense. They held up and put 32 on them. If it wasn't for Jalen Ramsey making an outstanding play to end the game, they were right in the thick of it. So we're gonna give a shout out to the Jets. Even defensively, the back end was a little bit. I didn't love how the back end played. I did like the pass rush. They were getting after Aaron Rodgers. No one expected Aaron Rodgers to turn back the clock and be dealing, even despite the pressure. He was able to get it done. So we're gonna give a shout out to the Jets, considering I thought they played really well. And if this is a sign of things to come, especially offensive line wise, without one of their best guys, they looked that good. Armin Membu was a lockdown, like you shall not pass on the right side. There's something there. I don't know if it'll make much of a difference this year, but moving forward, there's something there. I like what they have going. And Armin Membu, I can't get over it. That was the best rookie performance of the week. I don't care about JJ's comeback. I don't care about Emeka Buka's 2 touchdowns, as awesome as they were. Armin Membu locking down and TJ Watt, you shall not pass, was the rookie of the week.
Yeah, early draft still of the year from this last draft easily. So yeah, I like what the Jets did. I know they lost, but I still like what the Jets did. At the end of the day, look, you can that team outperformed anybody's expectations.
Exactly.
So no, I like that. My high is actually a guy who outperformed every expectation, and he went on to destroy the Dolphins, 33-8, and that is Daniel Jones. Yeah, I think it's safe to say going 22 of 29 and accounting for 3 total touchdowns for your team is going to get you some pretty good highlights here. On top of that, he continues to be dominant with his legs, which is crazy to say that Daniel Jones, of all people, is one of the best rushing quarterbacks out there. But people forget he wasn't at Duke because he knew he was really, really smart. He was at Duke because he could play football really, really well. But no, he's seems to have figured it out. Maybe Shane Steichen figured him out. I'm not sure. There's a reason he has the captaincy this year, and he's starting even though AR was healthy. So that is worth mentioning. It is makes you ask questions. He looks good with his receiving core. Tyler Warren looked great. Jonathan Taylor looked good. Michael Pittman looked great. Alec Pierce had moments. Go down the list of guys that had moments. Josh Downs had a moment, or not Josh Downs.
Highest graded offensive line of the week.
Yeah, like this team overall looked really good, and Daniel Jones was at the point for that offensively. Yes, it was against the Dolphins, but hey, I have high expectations for the Dolphins if they're healthy. So I'd say that's worth something when Daniel Jones does what he does.
That was probably the best game Daniel Jones has played since high school. Even looking back at Duke, there's not a single game that I can see that matches that. We already know looking back with the Giants career, there's nothing that quite matches that for the most part. So efficient, so explosive, made every single play. If the bottom is falling out on the Dolphins, that's one thing. We're gonna learn a lot this week when they play Denver. If he pulls off that Indiana Jones stuff again and gets it going in those whiteout uniforms in a whiteout stadium, we know Tyler Warren knows how to play in a whiteout. So that's gonna be interesting. You know what? They might be dragging me back in there. I don't like it. It's too early in the season to be dragging me back in. But if you're gonna break out a whiteout and they're gonna go and take care of Denver, I might be in trouble here. But I liked it. He doesn't get much better than that. Maybe all he needed his whole career was a Tyler Warren. Maybe that's all he was missing this whole time. Who knows?
Tyler Warren answers all problems. I mean, he was playing fullback at one point in time in the game.
Got to carry for 3 yards on top of it. Like it's a matter of time.
I like it. I like what the Colts are doing right now.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be a fun game for this week. It might be on DJ's Best Bets. We'll wait and see. And most importantly, they broke the streak. 12 years and counting without a week 1 win, and Daniel Jones is the one to break the streak. You've had Andrew Luck in that time. You had Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Anthony Richardson, Matt Ryan, all of these young, talented guys and high-ranking guys on all-time stats, and it was Indiana Jones who broke the streak. Which is either the Colts are dangerous or holy cow, Miami, the bottom is falling out, and the Mike McDaniel being fired before October is on the board. But we'll wait. It's still week 1, so I won't overreact there. But the final low I will have is going to stay in the exact same game, and I'm going right to Miami where what are you doing? Like, that looked like the entire bottom fell out. Like, even I know Indiana Jones played well, but there was literally 0 resistance whatsoever. Tua's throwing defense interceptions to guys wearing number 90, 97 to be exact. Like, what are we doing here? Defensively, there was 0 resistance whatsoever. They had Devon Achane trying to block DeForest Buckner at one point. The guy schematically, it's a mess. Tyreek Hill on the sideline clearly doesn't care. Like, he might end up I don't even think he's gonna have as many catches as he's definitely not gonna have as many touchdowns as he has kids this year if things continue at this rate. That was terrible. Jalen Waddle, I'm sorry, sir, you need to get out of there because they have progressively used you less and less since your rookie year. Jalen Waddle, demand a trade somewhere else. You don't deserve this. A-Chain's great, but like I said, he's 5'7", $175. I don't need him blocking a defensive tackle. They invested a lot in the offensive and defensive lines. Where are they at, though? Did not see that much of it. Secondary-wise, they clearly had no corners, and we saw that. Like, it was everywhere he wanted to go with the ball. It feels like the bottom fell out when we did our predictions. I had them at the bottom of the division, and I figured it'd flame out as the season went along. I didn't think we'd be talking about this on September 10th. I did not feel like this September 10th was the end of the Dolphins season. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a week 1 thing, but there was just no resistance in that game. Like, there's losing bad. Like when Buffalo lost to the Ravens last year, it's like, all right, the Ravens just kind of punched him in the face and got out in front of him quickly. Not much you could do. This felt like they just didn't even have a horse in the race. Felt like it was a horse's race and they were chilling in the Fisher Price Fred Flintstones mobile trying to yabba dabba do, but they were in the mud. A little bit too visual there. You got a good mental image of Mike McDaniel trying to get that thing going.
Yeah, he's definitely the Barney in that situation. I don't think he's a Fred Flintstone. He's not big enough to be Fred. Probably more of a Barney. Honestly, he's probably more of a Bam Bam. But yeah, no, I just can't get that image out of my head now. Like, thanks for that.
And they're in a dome too, so you can't even use the cold weather excuse or anything like that either. Like, you're in a dome in perfectly controlled temperatures.
Yeah. No, that was. I mean, look, I said I have a lot of hope if they're healthy for the Dolphins. Not if they play like they did last week.
At that point, they might want to be unhealthy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of teams, players who have a lot of hope around them, my low is none other than Spitgate and Jalen Carter. But specifically, I just want to talk about the Spitgate more than anything else. Like, Dak Prescott, what are you doing? You are, again, the same things I said about Patty in our open. You are the quarterback of America's team. You do not spit at somebody. Yes, you did not spit on him, but you spit at him and in an intention to get a moment of weakness from your opponent. Yes, Jalen Carter bit hard and spit right in your throat. Literally, like right on your throat. It was really gross. Disgusting how many times I've seen that replay. But first of all, you're the quarterback. You're supposed to do better. Yeah, talk your smack. That's fine. Don't spit at a person. That's what offensive linemen do. Offensive linemen are your goons. Let them be
They're gross
goons.
on purpose.
Exactly. Look, just let them be the goons. Jalen Carter's prepared for that. He can't do any. Again, quarterbacks are babies in the NFL. Can't do anything back. Now, Jalen Carter. Let's talk about this, sir. You knew what he's doing. He's a Cowboy. You are an Eagle. You guys hate each other. Facts. Out the door. Those are indisputable. He is a quarterback. You are a defensive lineman. You also are considered, quote unquote, bad attitude of a player. Whether you are or not, that's for you to decide and your mother to know. I don't care. But that's the perception around you. Dak Prescott is not looked at that way. So if there's a spitting moment, guess who's going to be looked at as the bad guy? That's right, the dirty, gross defensive lineman. That's who always gets penalized. It's always the defense, always the defensive lineman as well. If it was the other way around and it was a corner and an offensive lineman, it would be the offensive lineman that gets penalized. The fat guys are the ones getting penalized. So not only did you bite, but you did so in the fashion that the ref was walking towards you because he saw you guys getting close. The ref was less than 3 feet away from you, and you still spit on the man. What are we doing? What are we doing, Jalen? You are supposed to be better. You are supposed to be the linchpin for this defense. Thank God for you that the Eagles ended up pulling this one out. But, like, really? This is how we're going to start the season before you even play it down? What are we doing, Jalen?
There's also one other thing I kind of want to point out about that because, like, you're right. Like, Dak, I don't need you spitting at him. Jalen, I don't need you taking the bait. We're going to take just a look at this really quickly. This is where they are kind of after the flag's already been thrown. Look how far back everybody else was. Jalen, how close were you that spit should have even been that Dak spitting over your shit? You should not have been that close in the first place because the spitting took place right around here, which means he was walking around up here. It's like he was trying to, when they try in NBA, when they try and walk right by the huddle, walk through the middle of it during timeout.
Yeah.
Jalen, what were you doing that close to their huddle anyway?
Jalen was 4 yards on the wrong side of the ball.
Your teammate's dying on the field over there. Your teammate's season just ended like 10 feet away from you. Go give him a dap or something. Don't be walking by their huddle to where an errant spit could cause tomfoolery.
Yeah, and look, I don't care what Dak says. You got to be smarter than that. Dak could have said the most offensive, gross stuff in the world. You don't react that way in that situation. Like, as an NFL player, you can't react that. And I will say this, I have been the first person to go and say my hands are ready for action if my quarterback gets touched. I understand. I would be that guy that gets frustrated by that. I'd be the guy that wants to react. But you are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to be on the field destroying quarterbacks. You can literally get your revenge legally in one play.
Your job is to destroy him.
Like, stop thinking you need to react outside of the whistles. React in the whistles legally within the play. And Ndamukong Suh did this really, really well. And yes, he did get caught a couple times. But during the play, that was one of the dirtiest, clean players you've ever seen during a play. Now, after the play, I'm going to leave that alone. But during the play, he did everything you could possibly do to be the most messed up defensive tackle in the NFL's history. But it was all technically legal for the most part. Just J.J. Watt, let's be honest, he looks like a poster boy. He was not a poster boy. That dude is just as bad, too. Like, use it between the whistles. Don't do it outside of the whistles. And that's my rant for Spitgate. But that was my low of all lows this week.
I think that was just the low. Like, that was the low for humankind, period, as well. So the fact that we have Spitgate before a single play was actually performed, and we had an injury. Your teammate's broken right just 2 feet away. Your fullback, which we lauded a team having a fullback, and he's already gone for the year, and you're going off and spitting, literally. Like, you got to be spitting kidding.
You couldn't even be on your side of the ball when you did it either.
You were offsides before the sides were even on. Like, it was just unbelievable, but